What's up, everybody? I was just watching one of the videos Schleg Daddy did over a year ago on the 10 reasons why ROH in his mind sucks. Now, don't get me wrong, ROH has its positives and its negatives, and that's what I want to focus on. Now, the positives are they do have some great matches. There's no doubt about it. When done right, they can build up storylines and certain competitors and all that, and tag teams. They can build things up. They can do things correctly. There's no doubt about it. I mean, let's face it, their tag team division is better than TNA and WWE's. There's no doubt about that. In fact, sometimes the tag team division seems to get more focused on than the world title. But anyway, so that's one of the positives. That's one of the positives Ring of Honor has. But along with the positives are also the negatives. The negatives are sometimes even though they'll build up storylines and everything, they don't really build up pay-per-views that associate with those storylines and angles. I mean, I knew that they had a 10th anniversary coming up, but I didn't know it had been this past weekend. And when I found out it would already come and gone, I had to download it through a torrent. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've heard, it's got mixed reactions. Some liked it, some didn't. And basically, the one thing nobody liked about it was the fact that the build-up to it wasn't good, and that some of the matches in there were crap. Again, a negative right there is the fact that, again, the negative there is you didn't build it up. You didn't get it out there. You didn't go on YouTube enough, if you will. You didn't go on Facebook enough, Twitter, enough. You didn't go on some of these local news stations and say, hey, Ring of Honor, 10th anniversary, Hammerstein Ballroom. You guys didn't do enough of that. Now, another negative, which I felt is a big one, is when you guys did when Ring of Honor did the Sinclair broadcasting deal. When I heard of that, I thought, oh great, I'll finally be able to see Ring of Honor. Wasn't the case. Instead, what happens? Ring of Honor can only be seen on stations that are associated with the Sinclair Broadcasting Corporation. Which means the closest station I have near me that carries Ring of Honor is in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm pretty sure if I stayed in Kansas, I'd probably be watching it, but now I don't even see anything close to that. The only wrestling show that I get that's almost kind of Ring of Honor-like, or Ring of Honor would even have any association with, is APW. And I get to see that for about an hour or so on channel 189 or 198 or something like that every Saturday morning. But yet I can find and watch the third most talked about wrestling company? Come on. I mean Dragon Gate at least gets themselves out there. Urban Wrestling Federation gets themselves out there. CZW. At least try to get themselves out there. But you guys, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, you have an opportunity, like here in the Central Valley, Ring of Honor does, to put the product on television with a station like, say, channel 189, or the More TV substation of a My Network Television, NBC affiliate. They have the chance to do that, but they don't. This is one negative they need to turn into a positive, and they need to turn it into a positive real quickly if they want people to notice them. If anything, if Ring of Honor likes to right now go into that MMA style, they should take a page off of UFC and say, you know what? We need a better deal. UFC's now on Fox and all the Fox-related stations and channels. We need to get something similar. And you know what? You've got a lot of options. You've got Versus. You have Versus, if you will. They've had UFC and Pride and all that. That's a cable channel that would love to take you guys. And that's no joke. They would love to have you guys incorporated onto the station. Onto the channel. I'm pretty sure of it. You know, take all the Comcast Sportsnet channels around. Those guys would definitely want to have you, definitely would like to have your presence on their channels. But you guys don't do it. You guys don't, Ring of Honor doesn't do this. In Ring of Honor, you guys need to realize that's a big positive right in front of you. That's a negative that right in front of you with things like channels like Versus and all the Comcast nets and whatever you want to, channels out there. You know, Time Warner net channels or whatever you want to call them. Right in front of you. Right in front of you is something you could turn your negative into a positive with. But you guys don't capitalize. Another negative sometimes, and Schleg Daddy was right about this, is when you build certain stars up to be your champions, that's when you lose them. Tyler Black was your champion. He's now Seth Rollins in WWE. You lost him. Chris Hugh and Claudio Castagnoli, the Kings of Wrestling. You built them back up as a tag team. What happened? They're now in WWE. Getting ready to go up to that main roster. You know? These are guys that you build up, but yet you let go. You're lucky that your Ring of Honor champion right now, who is it? Davey Richards? Is staying with the company, but if you don't do enough to keep him with you, Davey Richards is going to be the next on that list, along with Eddie Edwards, to jump ship to WWE or even TNA. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. You guys don't do something to try to keep them on board. And then, and you know, speaking of Richards and Edwards, you put them in a tag team match against each other, where the partners are O'Reilly and Cole. So what are you saying? You're saying you're building up Riley and Cole to take their place? So that, because maybe what, you know they're leaving? Or they could be eventually next on that list to jump ship? I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you, but the thing is, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you have people that you built up, that you put your top belt around as your champions. Alright? I mean, the positives I will give you are this. You do when you have the opportunity, you do sign some great talent, whether it's independent talent or well-renowned talent. I mean, you got wrestling's greatest tag team on your roster. Who in the world can say that? Who can say that they have kept a tag team together even after they left the WWE? And let them kind of keep the same name they've had, with the exception they're now known as wrestling's greatest tag team. Who's to say they've done that? Who's to say, hey, they've gotten people like that to even pass the torch or even help out the younger teams? Who says they haven't? Who else could say that? Nobody. You guys, on a positive standpoint, have done that. You've done that on a positive standpoint. You've brought in Rhino. You got Jay Lethal. These are guys. Jay Lethal's another guy, TNA X Division champion, now your television champion, on the cusp, if you will, of being world champion, and he could also end up on that list of people that could be jumping ship. And you got to be careful. These are some of the positives you have. You're pushing a Jay Lethal. You are, you've signed the wrestling's greatest tag team. You brought in guys like Rhino. You got Homicide on your roster. I mean, these are all positives that could help you out. Help your company out in the right way. But that's up to you. Those are your positives. Those are the people that I feel, even if you have a Davey Richards or an Eddie Edwards as your champion, basically being your main focus being the American Wolves, you can build them around these stars, around those that I've named. I mean, even the Briscoes, your tag team champions, have had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to jump ship either way, and you should count yourselves lucky. Ring of Honor fans, you guys got to count yourselves lucky that they stayed with the company. They stayed with them. And that's a positive, because you're building your tag team division with them, around them and all the other tag teams you have. But just like with the world's greatest tag team, wrestling's greatest tag team, Haas and Benjamin, just like Homicide, just like Rhino, you're building all these people, you bring them in, and you got guys like Richards and Edwards as your champions. You are basically, you have the formula positive, on a positive standpoint. This is a positive for you. You have that formula right there to be good, to be great. You're on the cusp of that. You're on the edge of greatness. And that's a positive. And having those names coming in and being part of you, part of your company, Jay Lethal, Rhino, Homicide, having them along with Benjamin and Haas and the Briscoes, build along with the American Wolves as your two top guys. This is a positive that you can build on, and you need to build on it. You cannot continuously make it into a negative. You got to build on it in a positive. And having those that I've named to work around and build, Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards, Adam Cole, Kevin O'Reilly, whatever you want to call them, the American Wolves, your two top guys, you want to build them around, that's fine. You got this one guy that you're pushing in the embassy to be like your version of Goldberg or your version of Brock Lesnar. That's a positive. That is a positive. Now all you have to do is capitalize on it. These are all positives that you could definitely use to go to greatness, to jump off that edge into greatness. That's a positive. Those are the positives. Another positive, I will give you credit, is you allow your champions to go to independent promotions out there where the ring is probably half the size of yours at times, and defend their championships. Heck, I looked online on the YT, and I saw Eddie Edwards, when he was champion, defending in an independent promotion where the ring, the ring was half the size of my living room, if you will. I mean, the ring was basically from here to right about here. And to allow him to do that, and from here to right about here, and to let him do that, and to allow him to do that. I mean, look, I'll show you. From there to there, and then from here to there, where that doghouse is, that's how big the ring was. And to let your champion do that, defend the title against that independent promotion's top guy, that's saying something. And that is a positive, because yes, what it also does is it allows you to scout. It allows you to see who you can bring in, be part of your roster, and you can build, that would allow you to build the future of Ring of Honor around. And that's a good thing. But again, with the positives come the negatives. The positives, what I've mentioned. You got all the names that I've mentioned. Haas, Benjamin, Jay and Mark. Rhino at times when he comes in, or when he's brought in. Homicide, Jay Lethal. You can build the company and your world championship division, and your world champion and his #1 challenger, his tag team partner, around that. You can even build Cole and Raleigh around that if you want to make them the next two top guys, and that's a positive. But you got to make it a positive, not a negative. Another positive is allowing your champions to defend in independent promotions where the rings and crowds are smaller than what you're used to. And that's a positive, because it lets you scout, I will admit, potential future members of your roster, and that's good. And that's good. But the negatives, again, although those are positives, the negatives are the fact that you need to start promoting better, and you need to get on a better channel. Not just a syndicated thing, not just a television network, a better channel overall that has more expansion for you. Like I said, check out the Comcast Sportsnet's channels out there. Check out the Versus Network. These are all opportunities you have right in front of you. And that's all I'm going to say about it. So, hopefully, all you Ring of Honor fans and ROH itself has listened, and I will probably try to make this and this basically has been a response to the 10 Reasons ROH Sucks. And I will talk to you all later. Video respond down below, and peace out.